is so amazing to be with you. Good morning. Thank
Good
you
morning.
so much for taking your time to be here with us this morning. Please
Mhm.
share anything and everything you wish about yourself, where you're from, what you have done before you came to Fibonacci Trading Institute.
Okay. I'm 59 years old. I was born in Spain and I live here in Spain as well. Um, I got to know Allah 8 years ago. Um, I was working as a lawyer then. But 3 years ago, I gave up my work as a lawyer and now I'm just trading. Um, I didn't know anything about trading before I met Ala. Um, I didn't know what a pivot was or to place a trade or what a limit order was or the stop. I didn't know anything about that. And I took a mentoring course with Ala and 4 or 5 I can't remember now whether it was 4 or 5 boot camps. And after 2 or 3 years, I took another mentoring course where Ala taught me other strategies besides the ones that she taught at the boot camp. And one of those strategies is the one I'm using now. I only use that strategy. Um,
Pablo, when you started the course as a complete beginner trader and you sharing, you never pushed a button on the computer, you never touched trading platform. Was it difficult or was it easy for you?
the, at the beginning was difficult because I I didn't know how to place a trade or a limit order. And I remember I spent a whole hour with you, you teaching me how to place a trade on the Superdome. Uh, it took me a while to learn. But now I can trade on my sleep. And I also look at um, monthly charts, weekly charts, not only on indices and currencies, but also on stocks. And I also take options on bullish or bearish options on those trades. Um,
Pablo, so how did you shift from being difficult as a complete beginner trader, as an attorney who ran a very stressful business? How did you shift? What happened with the shift? What did you have to do to move to the level where you started becoming comfortable? How long did it take you?
took me like I don't know um, 6 months or so. It's just that it was 8 years ago, and it took me a while. I don't know, like 6 months maybe.
How often,
Um,
how much did you practice?
I practice every day. I started practicing with the monthly because it was easier, and then the weekly, and then 60 minutes. And then I started looking at stocks, um, but I didn't trade any stock because I didn't know um, how to do it properly, And now I do it. I mean, I place trades on with options. Um, So if you are beginning now, it's good to practice on with the monthly, then the weekly, and then the 60 minute.
So
And
what charts do you trade now? And are you still on NinjaTrader 8 platform or did you expand to various other platforms?
I use Ninja for indices and currencies, and I open a new account with a trade station where I can place trades with options. Um, so now I've got two accounts, one on Ninja and one on TradeStation.
And so you are sharing, you are trading gold, oil, euro, cable, and Aussie this week. And you also shared something very important. Please note, because no one asked Pablo to share too much, but Pablo reminding to you something extremely important in this email, that he had not been trading because of family issues. Do you see this? This is self-aware human being who shows to you, hey, if there is stress in my life, I do not trade. But here Pablo recovered from stress and starts trading live last week, first time in months, taking 11 trades, hitting all targets. So what did you share, Pablo? How many boot camps have you done?
I did 4 or 5, I can't remember.
Okay.
And I also took three mentoring courses. And you taught me different strategies that you didn't teach at the boot camps.
Yes. So what Pablo is sharing, when he finished the first mentoring course and he practiced for months and he had done the boot camps, then he came back for more advanced private mentoring and for other strategies. As again, I release to graduates of the course once a year. So what was the most difficult part of the process? Pablo, can you hear me? I think we lost Pablo. Can you hear me, Pablo? Hi, Ken. So good to see you stopping by. Amazing to see you. Pablo, can you hear me? We cannot
Yeah,
hear.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So what was the most difficult part of the process for you and what helped you?
The most difficult was placing the fibs on the 60-minute charts because sometimes it can get tricky. And so I decided that whenever I wasn't sure of where the fibs were, then I wouldn't place any trades. I only traded when I was completely sure of where the fibs were. Um, also, it also helped me to be on the lookout for 60-minute pivots because you trade from them, and that was also very helpful.
How soon after starting the course you closed your law practice?
I closed it about three years ago.
3 years ago, you closed your law practice and became a full-time trader.
Yeah,
Incredible. So there's something else very important Pablo said in this email. Please pay attention. Very, very important words. I trade gold, euro, cable, and Aussie. I did not trade American indices because I did not like the charts. Is everyone seeing this? So there are three very important messages in Pablo's email. Do not trade when you're working through difficult time. Look at the charts, and if you do not like what you see on American indices, on American futures, You have opportunity to trade anything you choose. System versatile and allows you to choose good charts across all instruments, all time frames, all platforms. It's that simple. You are not confined or forcing yourself to trade bad looking charts. Pablo, there's something very important I also want to ask you as we were focusing on consciousness and how the brain operates and formed before trader places a trade. Can you just briefly share, if possible, about your background, where are you from, and maybe briefly about your family and where you were raised?
Okay, well,
What country were you from and where are you raised?
so,
Anything you can share about your background would be incredible.
okay, I was born in Spain, and I've lived in my country for about 20 years. When I was 14 years old, I went to a boarding school in Switzerland, and I was there uh, until I was 18. Then I studied law in England, and but I didn't like it, and I was always looking for to learn to trade, and just by chance, one day I found your webpage, and that's how I everything began.
So, Pablo, what you shared, you are originally from Spain and you were studying in boarding school in Switzerland, which means what you're sharing is that you are coming from very financially stable family. So you
Yeah,
never really had financial stress or pressure when it comes to money. You were raised with very peaceful money mindset,
yeah,
which is an incredible base for trading. If you're coming from incredibly financially stable family, if you're studying in the most beautiful country, in very peaceful settings, it creates incredible base for your trading. However, you were in an incredibly stressful profession as a lawyer. So you were studying the course and you were studying trading while you were working as a lawyer?
yes, I was doing both things. Yes.
Wow. So that's a
Mm,
lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of work.
mm.
Anything else you would like to share? Any advice you would like to give to our students?
Um, we'll begin with the monthly charts, and then the weekly, daily, and 60 minutes. And if you do that, then you also find incredible investment opportunities because you can find good investments in stocks or I don't know on currencies on the monthly or the weekly charts. And not only you are going to practice, but you're going to find good good trades. So you can practice and find good good investment for if you're using the monthly chart, maybe for years to come, or if you're using the weekly for 1 year, and if you're using the daily for 2 or 3 days, it depends.
Thank you, Pablo. Thank you so much. Traders, if you have any questions, please post questions for Pablo. Excellent time to ask questions if you have any questions for Pablo. Pablo, thank you so, so much for stopping by. Thank you so, so much for sharing your incredible journey, for showing how much work you put into trading and how incredibly well you are doing. But again, it came with a lot of work. It came with a lot of practice. It didn't arrive overnight. And so your biggest advice to traders to practice as much as possible, 60-minute daily and weekly chart. Kurt is asking, how long does your average trade take?
Well, it depends. If I'm using because I when I started with Ala, we were using at the beginning we were using minute charts, and then we switched to what is it called?
Range.
Range charts. So but it depends. Sometimes I use for the S&P I always use range charts. But for the euro, or the oil, gold, or this morning I took a trade on Nasdaq, a bullish trade, and I used minute charts, and it took I don't know 26 minutes, I think, to reach the goal. And if I use range charts, then maybe I don't know 5 minutes or 6 minutes, you know. And if I'm using weekly charts, well, maybe, I don't know, a month. And if I'm using daily, 2 or 3 days.
What did you say? If you're using daily, 2 or 3 what?
Days,
Days. Yes.
yeah.
Fantastic. Incredible. Different risks, different trades, different charts, different time frames. Paul is asking, what range chart size do you get into your trade? I think size is a personal question because it applies to how much money in the account. It all depends on your account size. But if you're asking range trade size, what are your favorite range charts you like to trade?
13, 14, 15, those are good.
13, 14, 15 are your favorite.
Yeah. And if I'm using,
And it's on S&P or is it on Dow? On what chart?
on the S&P, if I trade the S&P, I always use range charts.
Range charts to trade S&P.
Yeah. But for everything else, I use minute charts. And then you risk more money because the candles are bigger, and you risk more money there. Like, for instance, today on the 13-minute chart, on Nasdaq, there were 13 points. Okay.
Any other questions for Pablo? Any other questions for Pablo? Hi, Pablo. When you started trading real money, what was your hit rate, for example, out of every 10 trades? Pablo, how soon did you start trading live account? And please, can you see Trevor's question? When
Yes.
you started trading real money, what was your hit rate? I think hit rate, Trevor, means what was your success rate?
I started trading real money very soon. I think like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after I ended the course with him.
Yes, you mentioned 2 weeks before you started trading real money, which was actually your dark secret. You did not tell me that.
Yeah, because you always said that we should practice with a fake account. But in the trading room, I don't know, I felt comfortable with other people trading, and I risk money, not much, but I anyway I risk real money. Um, And the hit rate was at the beginning, I don't know, it has varied along the years, through the years. There have been times when the hit rate was, I don't know, 70, 80, then sometimes it dropped to 70, and then went up again to 80. It depends, you know. Now, I've taken a break of 2 months, and last week was 100%, you know. Sometimes it's good to take a break. I did one-to-one mentorship with Ala. Not only once, but 3 times, I think.
Thank you for your time, Pablo. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your incredible journey. You are such an inspiration. From stressed out attorney to trading live account in 2 weeks with continuous practice, with continuous effort, with continuous trading boot camps, and more advanced private mentoring. So spectacular effort. Joy seeing you being so successful, and joy seeing you knowing quite well. When you are stressed out, you do not trade, you're walking away from the screen, and you know what charts to trade and what charts not to trade. And you're trading any instrument you choose, from gold to oil to euro to cable to ASIS to stocks to options to US futures, S&P. Anything else you would like to add, Pablo?
No, that's all.
Thank you so much for joining us from Spain. Thank you for sharing your journey. You are such an inspiration. Amazing to be with you. Amazing to hear you speak. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ala.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.